Hi, I'm Dano Holcomb from Root Down Food Truck, and today I'm going to share with you one of my favorite recipes. Our version of street food takes the best local and regional ingredients and transforms them into fantastic Creole, Southern, and soul-influenced comfort food. Today, thanks to Ingles, I'm going to cook with you. I'm going to show you how to bring some of my favorite dishes to your kitchen table. We're starting out at Ingles, getting the ingredients to make my smoked paprika mayo. Remember, you can get a list of ingredients for this recipe and others at inglestable.com. You can print it off at home or pull it up on your phone when you get to the store. Let's get cooking. All right, now we're going to do a smoked paprika mayo, which is very versatile. I like to use it with our slaw. It goes nice with a pulled pork sandwich, which we'll show you at the end of the segment. Also, it's just great to put on, sandwiches. If you just want to put on a piece of toast, it just works really well in a lot of different ways. So we're going to start off with egg yolks. So anytime you're doing a mayo or an aioli, the ratio is 1 egg yolk to 1 cup of oil, and we'll show you that as we go along. But for this, we're going to make a quart, so we're going to use 4 egg yolks. Now, cracking eggs is kind of strange for a lot of people, including myself. There's a couple ways to do it, but I like to just crack one and just let it kind of seep through my hands. All right, and put that in there. And I'm just going to add that to that. Another way to do it is you can do the 2-shell method, and you can just kind of shell by shell get rid of the white part of the albumin and just discard the rest. Now, if there are any bakers watching, you're going to be mad because I'm wasting all this nice egg white that you might want to use for a meringue or something like that. I apologize. All right, so, and the last yolk. All right. All right, so with that, I'm going to bring my processor over. Chef Rue, Chef St. Paul, if you're watching, I apologize. I'm not making this by hand. It's a lot easier to do in a food processor, but in culinary school, in the restaurants in New Orleans where I used to work, we had to do these by hand. But right now, I'm going to cheat a little bit. So, with our egg yolks, I'm going to use some whole cloves of garlic, the juice of 2 lemons, and one way to get the juice out of a lemon, especially if it's hard, is to kind of roll it with your hand on a hard surface. That'll kind of break it up inside. It becomes nice and juicy, as you see. Okay, I'm going to do that twice. And one way to get juice out of a lemon is you can have a nice little cool little gadget, you twist it on and all that, but I like to use a fork and the tines of the fork, and just kind of, and if you go upside down rather than right side up, all the seeds tend to stay up, okay? And then the juice just kind of runs down your hand. All right, so that's one. And the last one. There we go. All right. Now to that, we're going to add a pinch of salt, Dijon mustard. I like to use Creole mustard. Pinch of black pepper, red wine vinegar, and smoked paprika. All right. All right, so I'm going to get that going to start with. I'm trying to break up the garlic cloves and to blend that up a little bit. All right. So now we're going to use our oil. So like I said before, we're going to use a quart of oil because we have 4 egg yolks. And when you do this, you want to pour this in a very, very light stream. This is going to help emulsify. And about halfway through, we'll stop, we'll take a spatula, and we'll try to knock down all the sides there. All right, so let's see, where's my spatula? So, a lot of people confuse a mayo with an aioli. In recent times, it's become kind of ubiquitous. But historically, an aioli is garlic cloves ground down in a mortar and pestle with olive oil. And that's basically an aioli. A mayo tends to have the egg yolks in it. But now it's basically a hybrid between a mayo, aioli. Technically, this is a mayo, so that's what we're going to go with. All right, so you can see it's already starting to emulsify, which means the oil in it starts to break down in little teeny balls that you can't really see with your naked eye, and combines with the albumin, the egg yolk itself. All right, so we're going to add the rest of this oil in a slow stream. And you can see it's starting to thicken up nicely. One thing that could happen is this could break, which means to say that it wouldn't thicken up. It's all going to be separated and it kind of looks grainy. And if that's the case, you might check your eggs, because the eggs might be old. And you also need something else that's going to bind it, which mustard does, like a Dijon mustard, a whole grain mustard. That's going to add as some glue to keep everything together. So now you can see this is nice and thick. And we're going to add this right back to our quart container. Give it a quick little taste. You know what? I'm going to add a pinch of salt. A little bit more salt. All right, so that should be great. Nice and thick. You can see that's going to be great on a sandwich, and it's going to be great with this slaw that we're going to make in just a couple minutes. All right, so we're going to make the nice slaw to go with our mayo. Just going to basically use a nice purple cabbage and a green cabbage. We can always also use carrot, but we'll just go with this to start with. All right. I like to pull off the back leaves. And you always want to have a nice dense cabbage. All right. So an easy way to make a slaw, you could put this in a food processor, but I like to pull it apart. That way you can have something easy to work with. All right, and then I just go from the edge, make very thin cuts. And then when you get to the long edge, I just turn it again and kind of go on an angle. All right, so that should be enough for that. Nice purple color there. All right, so now we'll go with the other side. And we'll use this green part. cabbage has that stalk end, which I just kind of take off with a swipe on an angle there. And again, you want something to work with, so I try to pull that big part off. We'll use that later. And then nice and thin. All right, so that should be enough for that. All right, so the basic cabbage slaw, 2 colors, just a nice little toss there. All right, and then we're gonna add our paprika mayo to that. All right, and then kind of toss that together. You can use your hands, you can use a fork, you can use the spoon. You're just kind of folding that together. All right. All right. Give a little taste. Mmm. Delicious. All right. So this is going to go, this nice slaw that we just made is going to go on a pulled pork sandwich. You could put, this would be nice with beef. This would be nice with chicken salad. Something with a nice crunch to it. This will add a nice crunch to it. So all I'm going to do is saute up some pork that we smoked the other day. Gonna add a little pork jus, which is the nice liquid that came off the pork while it was smoking. So now it's gonna add our pork to that. Let's break this up. Smell that nice pork smell. All right, so you're just heating this through. All right. All right, so I'm just gonna add this as our base. Add a nice big chunk of this slaw, right like so. All right. Pulled pork sandwich with our smoked paprika mayo. Well, we're out of time for today, but I want to thank you so much for joining us here at the Ingles table. Remember, you can find this recipe, videos, photos, and more on the website at inglestable.com. Until next time, I'll see you online.